Why do American contractors charge $15,000 to build a patio and pergola when this crew transformed their entire backyard themselves for a fraction of the cost? It starts with destruction. The old square paving slabs that have been sitting here for decades get ripped out piece by piece. Pickaxes break them loose, shovels lift them up, and wheelbarrows haul everything to a skip. The concrete border edging gets demolished too. Nothing stays, but manual labor can only go so far. A mini excavator rolls in and digs out the entire top layer of soil, leveling the ground across the whole area. Every high spot gets scraped down. Every low spot gets filled. The ground has to be perfectly level before anything else happens. Now comes the foundation work, the part most people skip and regret later. Our white weed control membrane gets rolled out across the excavated soil. This prevents weeds from pushing up through the patio years down the line. Then a grab lorry backs in and dumps crushed aggregate across the membrane. The crew spreads it evenly with rakes and shovels. But loose aggregate isn't strong enough. A compactor plate vibrates across every inch, pounding the stone into a rock-solid base. String lines get stretched tight across the area, and a spirit level checks the slope. The patio needs a slight angle, just enough for rainwater to drain away from the house. Too flat, and puddles form. Too steep, and it looks wrong. With the base ready, paving begins. A cement mixer churns out fresh mortar, a thick mix of sand and cement. The mortar gets spread onto the base in small sections, just enough for 1 or 2 slabs at a time. The new rectangular paving slabs are huge, far bigger than the old ones. Each slab gets lifted carefully and placed on the mortar bed. A rubber mallet taps it down gently. A long spirit level checks that it's perfectly flat and aligned with the string line. Any slab that sits too high or too low gets lifted back up, more or less mortar added, and reset. This process repeats over and over. Every single slab has to be level with the ones around it. Along the garden edge, a small brick wall gets built to create a neat border and planter area. Single-skin brickwork, simple but clean. The bricks get laid 1 row at a time, each one bedded in mortar and tapped into place. As the paving reaches the edges and corners, straight slabs don't fit anymore. A gas-powered wet saw gets fired up. The water sprays onto the blade to keep it cool as it slices through stone. Custom cuts get measured, marked, and cut precisely to fit every remaining space along the brick border and around obstacles. Now, the pergola. This is where the project gets serious. Deep square holes get dug by hand for the support posts. These posts will carry the entire weight of the structure, so the footings have to be solid. A ledger board gets bolted to the brick wall of the house. This acts as the anchor point for one side of the pergola. The massive wooden beams arrive. Each one gets measured and marked. A circular saw cuts them to length. Then comes the joinery work. Notches get carved into the beams using a chisel and mallet, creating interlocking joints where the cross beams will sit. The bottom ends of the posts, the parts going into the ground, get coated with black damp-proof treatment to prevent rot. The main support posts drop into the holes. A level checks them from every angle. Quick-setting post-mix concrete gets poured around each post, locking them in place. Once the concrete hardens, the heavy crossbeams get lifted into position. They slot perfectly into the notched joints and get secured with large screws driven through pre-drilled holes. The remaining rafters span across the top, completing the frame. Back to the patio. A specialized jointing compound gets mixed with water in a bucket using a paddle mixer. The mixture pours over the patio surface. A hose sprays water continuously while a squeegee and stiff brush sweep the compound into every gap between the slabs. A final rinse washes away the excess. Fresh topsoil gets spread across the lawn area and leveled smooth. Rolls of turf unroll like carpet, fitted together tightly and trimmed to fit snugly against the patio edge and pergola posts. A narrow channel between the patio and house wall gets filled with light gray decorative gravel for drainage. One last hose rinse cleans everything. The transformation is complete. Clean modern paving, fresh green lawn, and a solid wooden pergola overhead. So here's the question. Would you take on a project this massive yourself, or write a check for $15,000 to have someone else do it?